The eyes are useless when the mind is blind. And I see a lot of people waking up. I see a lot of people opening up their minds to the reality that used to be called conspiracy. I'm seeing big names like Dan Bongino, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, people like Elon Musk, people like Zuckerberg, coming around. And you've got players like Chris Pavlovsky, who is the CEO of Rumble. He's teaming up with Dan Bongino and Elon Musk to sue Google and subsequently Alphabet, who owns Google, because they've been, their goal, according to Zach Voorhees, a programmer who became whistleblower at Google, they've basically been distorting and giving us what they want us to know, giving us only information that they want us to know. And according to another guy named Robert, I'm dropping a lot of names, but these are names worth looking up. Like, these things you should know. Always remember the names, remember the dates. Categorize everything. Look back to it and refresh your memory. Anyway, you need to have these things in the chamber, in the barrel, and ready to go. You need to be strapped and loaded for mimetic warfare. Always. And I'm getting to that. I'm getting ahead of myself. All these things are proven. Robert Epstein, no relation, said that during the 2016 election, at least 2 million votes were manipulated by Google. And if memory serves, Facebook was involved in that as well. So they say that, yeah, the mind, if the mind is blind, the eyes are useless. And many people think that all of a sudden they have eyes to see. But I'm a big fan of Manly P. Hall, another name drop, 33rd degree Mason that supposedly defected, but I don't think so. I think it was a revelation of method, and he's got a lot to reveal. Just always be careful of the 10th lie, because they always do your yes ladder with stuff that resonates, and they lead you astray. If you're not watching my videos, I'm gonna use terminology that you probably don't know, because I can't just keep on elaborating on it and wasting time on every video. I'll never get to any other points. Manly P. Hall said that it's good to be able to see things, but the wise can see through things. So it's not only good to have eyes to see, you have to see through the obvious. And what I'm seeing right now seems really, really contrived. It all seems staged. I know everyone hates this word, and it's a big, it's sacrilegious to talk about things being staged. But how awake are we? Not woke, awake. Can we see through things? I know we can see. I hear Dan Bongino talking about directed energy weapons. I hear Zuckerberg talking about a renewed sense of patriotism he felt when the assassination attempt on Trump failed. And he woke up, he stood up, and Trump pumped his fist with blood on his face, said it was badass, quote unquote. One of the most badass things he'd ever seen. Elon Musk immediately, billionaire fence sitter, right? Has always voted Democrat. Has always voted Democrat and endorsed Democrat candidates. All of a sudden, when that happened, immediately, sea change. Candace Owens is talking about the 12 tribes versus the nation versus the state and the difference. She's talking about Khazars or Khazars, whichever way you want to say it. And that's why she supposedly got kicked off of whatever wire, I can't remember what it was called, that is run by Ben Shapiro, Zionist, very likable Zionist, but a Zionist nonetheless. Daily Wire, couldn't think of it. There's all these people that are waking up, or are they waking up? Or is it the same uniparty that we've always had? I'm sincerely asking because I don't know. But what I do know, if there's anything that I've learned about the world since I've really woken up, because I was born awake. I was born analytical. And I went to the next level on 9/11, like we all did. But after 2016, and before that I started, it really took it up a peg. And my pattern recognition is through the roof. And this is what Manly P. Hall was talking about. And in my other videos, I talk about the invisible scaffolding, generally referring to the flower of life creation pattern, but this applies to other invisible patterns. When things are too perfect, when too many coincidences stack and it becomes statistically impossible, you can see through what's going on in front of you, which seems to be a complete 180-degree sea change. You're telling me all these people, all these big tech people, Elon's about to interview Trump on Monday on X, which will be huge. Zuckerberg is turned around all of a sudden and said he's going to chill out. I haven't been banned on Facebook, knock on wood. I mean, I would get a 30-day for sneezing too loud. I'm posting all kinds of fucking wild shit. I'm doing videos again. Why am I allowed to do that? Why am I not being fucked with? I'm not complaining. I'm just talking about patterns, and I'm always talking about learning to hear what's not being said and learning to see what's not being shown. And learn to recognize patterns. The wise recognize patterns behind things. And what I'm seeing is a lot of damn coincidences. The assassination attempt alone is a lot of damn coincidences. Where for all of them to stack, it makes it statistically impossible. For what happened to happen, the bullet alone is not going to graze somebody's ear. It'll take off half his head with that ear that it grazed. How are we supposed to believe that this kid got on the roof? There was no communication. When they clearly saw that somebody's over there and people were filming it and doing crazy shit and yelling, no one told Trump to get off stage. And then the millisecond that could have changed the world, right? He just turned and it missed. Millisecond. Exactly at the right time. It's like the world is holographic and we're all inside of a three-dimensional movie, isn't it? Talk a lot about this also. I don't know that that's the case, but it sure seems like it. All these people are turned around. All the forces are turned around. All these coincidences are happening. Even CNN is talking shit. And everything's so obvious. There's nothing subtle. The way that the DNC basically didn't have anybody but Biden. And then they did a coup. Because I guess that's what they do now. Just like they did with Trump. Biden was forced down. Now, Kamala, a communist prostitute, is running with Tampon Tim Walz, who is just getting annihilated on the internet for drinking horse spunk, which is not true. As far as I can tell, that's not true. Mimetic warfare. Mimetic warfare is a mix of irregular warfare, asymmetrical warfare. Because Saul Alinsky, who wrote Rules for Radicals, the Leftard Bible, rule number 5 states that ridicule is an awesome weapon. And you can't do anything about it. That's why it's asymmetrical. You can't be like, oh yeah? You can't really defend yourself, because the more you defend yourself, the guiltier you look. You just look ridiculous. And a lie gets around halfway around the world before the truth even gets its shoes on. So it doesn't have to be true. And digital guerrilla warfare. The leftards told us a long time ago, showed us a long time ago, that there is no low that they won't go to. They've verbally said that they wanted a street fight repeatedly. They want a street fight. I'm all about truth, but I'm not bringing a knife to a gunfight. That's a metaphor. Facebook algorithms. When you dance with the devil leads. And there's not an option to sit it out. So I'm fine with mimetic warfare. I'm fine with that. Because it's ridiculous and it's ridicule. And it's asymmetrical warfare. Information warfare. That's what we're doing right now. So load up your memes. Make them fucking hilarious, because the beauty of it, part of the asymmetry of it, is that the left can't meme. Because they don't have a sense of humor. They think self-righteousness and getting the mob to rally behind them is funny. They think that's comedy. They don't understand. They don't have... Comedy takes multiple layers of thinking. It takes from going from one layer that establishes the premise into a higher level when you can see the big picture and how that initial premise is absurd. That's what makes something funny. When you don't have any depth You can't be funny. So we have a phenomenal advantage. But speaking of depth, it all seems too obvious. It all seems staged. Everyone keeps talking about the uniparty, the uniparty, the uniparty. Has it just evolved into a better, wiser, more surreptitious uniparty? Again, I'm asking. I don't know. All I know is that I'm recognizing that it's too perfect. I'm looking at all this stuff. You're telling me that in 8 years, they couldn't find a better candidate than a commie prostitute and a nay nut drinker? That's who we're running up against. And you got a guy that's like done nothing but create peace and is a superhero. The contrast is impossible. I understand that leftards are idiots. That's what we call them, leftards. And I've just illustrated that they're not funny because they don't know how to meme. And they don't have any depth. They have no internal compass. That's why they're so easy to be exploited as useful idiots by the government. Because they're godless. They look to government. They look to the nanny state. So that's fine, but they're that dumb? I don't think so. The last 2 videos I've talked a lot about the cults and that run the world. And if you understand the checkerboard, the Masonic chessboard, it's not a checkerboard. That's a misnomer on purpose. It's a chessboard because we're playing checkers and they're playing chess. The light and the dark. The dark being the satanic forces, and the light being the Luciferian, the false light forces. And we talked yesterday about how people move away from pain rather than towards pleasure. It's some absurd statistic like 80% or something. People won't move. People have no internal compass. There was what was the name of it? It escapes me right now, but there was an experiment done in the 70s to determine if people have an internal compass, and they were told to electrocute somebody in another room and just follow orders. And the person was screaming and yelling in the other room. He wasn't connected to anything. It was just an experiment. But something like 70% of people just followed the orders, just followed orders. Side note, I actually took that experiment before I knew anything about it. And I went when I was going to college. And this was when I was a pretty big boozer. And I drank, they made me drink pure grain and do the exact same experiment. And the guy started yelling, and I'm like, yeah, I'm out. And the guy's like, no, like, you're not going to get paid if you don't. And I'm just like, I'm not shocking that dude. And they still paid me and everything like that. And I had to go wait in a room to sober up before they let me leave. But they never told me what it was until years later. I read about this experiment, and I figured out what they were doing. But anyway, most people don't have an internal compass. They look to authority to tell them what to do. And the way it is, dark and light, they pull at you. They create cognitive dissonance. So you don't know what's true. And you wait for orders. They tell you contradictory things. my body, my choice. So the baby's body is your body. And that doesn't apply if you want to mandate somebody else being with an experimental thing. That's your body too. So your body's your body, the baby's body's your body, and my body is your body. That's what my body, my choice means. Do you see? So people who are confused by things like that, because they don't make sense, their brain hurts. They hold two different beliefs in their heads. So they await orders. And this is what seems to be happening. And the Luciferians, the false light, believe themselves to be the good guys. Not white hats. There's no white hats. The world is full of trade-offs. So there's only bad and worse. Those are the only decisions. So everybody's a gray hat. It's just different shades of gray that leads to black. But we don't know, because the black hats act like they're good guys too. It's extremely confusing, so all we can rely on is the wisdom of seeing through shit. And I'm seeing that all of this appears to be contrived. All of this seems to be coordinated. All the Trump derangement syndrome has been dialed down. All the TDS people like Zuckerberg are changing their tune. Bullets are whizzing by his head. I don't know how they did that. And again, it's all speculation. But how is this possible? What I want you to take away from this video is that this is just me recognizing patterns. Maybe I don't have the big picture, because coincidence is just another way of saying I can't see the big picture. What I can tell you is that the Luciferians consider themselves to be the sons of Prometheus. They love humanity, but they can't stand the useless eaters. They think that they are the lesser of two evils, and the evil that they have to commit is to get rid of the dead weight of humanity in order for humanity to proliferate, in order for humanity to be raised to the next level. They have to cut the dead weight. That's what they think. And they think that the lesser of two evil is necessary. Like a gardener that trims the hedges so that they're beautiful and not just this wild thing, like a gardener that pulls all the weeds from the garden. And I'm not saying I agree with them. I'm saying I can kind of see what they're talking about. I would never, ever condone this behavior. But again, I can entertain an idea without thinking that it's right. That's what it appears to be. That's what it appears. To me, it looks like this is what's happening. It's just too clean. It's too choreographed. It's too perfect. There's too much pattern recognition, red lights, red flags everywhere. And the way they conflate gods, the god that comes to mind is Shiva, the goddess of destruction. That's what they believe in. Destroy to create. Ordo ab chaos. Order out of chaos. And there's one more. It all says the same thing. The one on the Baphomet hands. On the arms, it says something coagula. It's not coming to my mind. They all mean the same thing. You have to destroy to create. This is what they believe. I don't agree with them. I think the lesser of two evils is still evil. But they believe that they can't have a renaissance. They can't go to the next level of humanity because they won't move towards pleasure. They won't move towards light or God. And they see it as a necessary evil in a world that's dualistic. To trim the hedges, weed the garden, and force people to run towards the light, even if it's false light. The ones that do have an internal compass, keep looking to God. Keep playing the game because you're in a game. Keep playing it to win because it's like the Hunger Games. You don't have a choice. Play to win. And hopefully the cusp of this destruction creation cycle will bring a renaissance, like it always does, of art and beauty and evolution. Unfortunately, it'll bring with it history being rewritten and other such nonsense. But I personally want to raise my son and have grandkids someday bouncing on my lap. So if I'm going to be in this prison, if I'm going to recognize the patterns, and I'm going to understand and be able to see through things, I'm going to make the best of it. All the while, still trying to use a spoon to dig my way out. But there is no spoon, is there? Thanks for watching. God bless, guys.